lights up the new scoreboard.
I think after today, he's done with podcasts forever.
Swing and a miss on a changeup down.
It is a changeup, and it is ridiculous.
Everybody goes to high school where astronauts and actors and
first-round
multiple
picks.
major league pitchers went.
Burns throws, got it, what a play! Oh, man!
This is Have a Seat with Jason Benetti and Dan Dickerson.
All right, we are joined for the first time on Have a Seat by somebody who's going to be a major leaguer instead of is a major leaguer. It's the 11th pick in the draft, Bryce Rainer. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
What has today been like as you get introduced as a Detroit Tiger?
It's been great. It's the first time here, and I can say that this city has definitely exceeded expectations. Field's great. Everyone I met's super nice, friendly. It's been a good time.
I mean, you said at the time the Tigers drafted you at 11th that you didn't have a whole lot of contact with them, right? Mm-hmm. So what have you learned about the city, and what did you know when you got drafted, and how much learning have you done in the last 10 days since being picked 11th?
Yeah, I really didn't know much. I know that the movie 8 Mile was filmed here.
There you go.
I've watched that
Good
quite a
starting
few
point.
times.
Let's go.
But if I'm going to be honest with you, that's really all I knew. Didn't know much about Lakeland either, so it's been great learning about that place. But yeah, I didn't even know the city was like this big, but it's pretty cool.
And a historic franchise, that has to be kind
Yes.
of a cool part of this equation as well.
Yeah. No, it's great. I know Trammell comes down to Lakeland once in a while. I think he's going to come down there.
Southern
soon.
California kid, San
Yes.
Diego. Yeah.
Yes, I think he's going to visit Lakeland soon, so I'll get to meet him and pick his brain about the infield.
And that's a pretty good brain to pick, by the way.
Yes.
So you said infield. We know you as an infielder. You could pitch as well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, your love of baseball comes through in the interviews that we've watched.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Why do you love the game?
Yeah. I got started pretty early.
How early is early?
Got to be 5 or 6, I think.
Really?
I was homeschooled up until 8th grade, actually. And so all I did all day was just play baseball with my brother, wiffle ball all day long.
The course load was light.
Yes. But yeah, and I didn't really even think about it. That's what I did, and I loved it, and continued it up until now, and I haven't changed my mind at all.
So little Bryce, what piece of baseball did he enjoy the most?
I would say just being able to play every day. Hitting, I would say hitting. Little Bryce would say hitting.
Really?
Yes.
How so? Like tanks? Like what did you like about hitting?
Honestly, BP practice.
Really?
Like, yeah, just hitting like all the time, every day, hundreds of swings every single day when I was little. Like, I don't know why I loved it so much, but I'm glad I did.
And you're a natural righty, right? Or you're a natural lefty?
I actually don't know. I know I'm a natural righty thrower. I don't know about the hitting side. I think my dad may have just
That's what I was wondering.
saw
Did
me
he
throw righty, and he was like, "All right, no, you have to hit lefty." But yeah,
But when you made
contact,
contact, whether it was with that first wiffle ball bat in wiffle ball, or when the ball got a little harder and you like hit a line drive right by your dad's head,
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yes, yes.
I have to double back to something. What is appealing about batting practice? People normally don't like BP.
Yeah, I just think it's fun. Like, you get to experience what you do in games, back to back to back to back. In games, you only get one swing to hit the ball, and in BP, you can do it over and over and over again, and watch ball flight, and practice your swing, practice your craft.
Where did your swing come from?
I would say a lot of reps and hitting with my dad when I was very little. I think that's the origin.
And then there was an interesting story about how after you, and we'll get into this in a moment, decided not to pitch your sophomore year after an amazing freshman year as a pitcher, getting to the state championship game with a big win in the semifinals. You decided, so now you're working more on your swing, and that swing clearly developed quite nicely the last 2 years of your high school career. But you said something interesting. You said, yeah, my coach, my dad helped. But he said, it was mostly about the work I did with myself. You don't hear this very often.
Yeah.
You hear guys with swing coaches, and they're trying to train you a certain way. They're using the technology.
Yeah.
You said you just went in and went to work until you found the feel and it worked out. Describe that process, because that's pretty interesting.
Yeah. So last summer, it wasn't the most fantastic summer, I think, personally. So I had some time to reflect over that off season, and I did have some pointers and help talk to multiple people about some things about my swing, and it really helped a lot. But it was the majority of it was just me kind of by myself. Like at the end of the day, you know your best self and your best swing. So it was kind of just being in a cage alone, hitting as much as I could.
Somebody feeding you balls, or just
someone feeding me balls, if not hitting
off
off
the
tee.
pitching machine.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it was kind of just a feel thing.
And then it's just you swing. You're like, okay, I tried this, whether it was quick to the ball, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And now, that's the feel I'm looking for, and then just keep repeating that,
Yes.
or keep tweaking it to get it to the point where that's the contact I'm looking for.
Yes.
How do you know?
I don't really know if there's like a definite answer for that question. I think it differs from person to person, and I really couldn't explain to you the exact feeling for me. It's kind of just like you know it when it happens.
You've described yourself now as like being homeschooled for a while, loving hitting, being alone, as Dan was talking about. What are you like when you're around your friends?
From what I explain it, my personality around my friends, I would say, contradicts with what I just said. I would say I talk quite a bit. I think they'd say I'm pretty funny, but that's my personal opinion. I hope they'd say the same.
The most important question of this entire interview is, who's going to listen to this and roast you from Southern California in your friend group?
Jack Kelman,
Okay.
Ethan Price, Duncan Marston, pretty much everybody.
Why are they going to, like, what will they hear in this and be like, come on, man?
Anything. I mean, but that's just,
And those are the best friends to have.
They're the absolute best. We all do it to each other, and it's been the same way for the last 5 years. Like that's how it goes.
Was Duncan the one you went to the combine with?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I thought was pretty neat. It's like you have that one buddy who understands what you're going through, because he's on your team.
Yeah.
And a good teammate and a good ball player, apparently. So, but I thought that was neat. That seemed like a lot of logic behind that you've got that one person who you can just bounce stuff off or just have fun with and not think about it for a minute.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big help. Even more so off the field with someone to talk to you about those things that you can relate to. But we've been best friends for the last 4 years, and our friendship's gonna keep going as we get older. But it's great.
So I do wonder, you talked about your best friend. On this podcast, we have had a series of guests who have talked about being the younger or youngest brother. And how, like, Tarek Skubal talked about like playing basketball against his older brother, getting spotted 10 points and losing 11-10.
Yeah.
What kind of older brother are you to Colton?
Yeah, oof. I would say we're very competitive. I think he's at an age now where we can kind of hang out and do the same things.
Separated by what, a couple years?
2.5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he can come out, hang out with my friends. His friends come over and hang out with his friends. We do everything together. But yeah, I would say competitive.
What were you like 5 years ago as an older brother?
5 years ago, I would say the typical, little brother. I would say now it's kind of hard for me to, push him around. He's bigger than me and he weighs more than me. 5 years ago it was a little bit different. I could kind of tell him what to do, but now I'm like, all right, like I'm good. I don't want to get punched. That actually hurts now. Yeah.
Do you remember the day that happened?
I remember the day, not the exact date,
Right.
but yeah, I was in the kitchen making food, and he walked downstairs, and it was like he opened the fridge. I thought it was my dad, because my dad's also unfortunately taller than me. So, and he stood next to me and looked down and asked me a question. I was like, oh wow, he's actually taller than me now. That it was quite a sad day.
What sports did you love to be competitive at with him or your buddies beyond baseball?
Or
Yeah.
games?
Or games.
Yeah, recently it's been golf. A lot of golf with him over the summer. This past summer,
Yeah.
I think we went golfing just about every day. We had a basketball hoop growing up, so I'd whoop him in that. but wiffle ball too, whooping that too.
A classic.
Yes, yes.
Never not a good time playing wiffle ball, right?
Yeah.
Did you pretend to be anybody when you were playing wiffle ball, like batting stances, throwing motions?
No.
Was there anything that you like?
No,
You're just you.
I had some favorite players growing up, but yeah, I really don't know why. I never thought of, I don't know what the word is. I'm blanking, but
mimicking. Sort of,
yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
We get paid to make up words.
Mimicking somebody else. I don't really know why I didn't do it, but I watched a ton of baseball growing up, but I kind of just, I watched it and then I would just go play.
Dodger fan, right?
Yes.
Hardcore Dodger fan. You can't be both a Dodger fan and an Angels fan, right?
You cannot.
You cannot.
No.
That's a pretty hard and fast rule I know in Chicago, New York,
Yes.
LA.
Yes.
Who'd you love watching?
Matt Kemp when he was playing when I was very little. Kershaw's been there, I mean, forever. So him, obviously. That's honestly about it.
Right.
Yeah.
Those two that stand out in your mind.
Yeah.
So talk about Kershaw, and you're like, okay, he's watching a pitcher. As we said, freshman year, tremendous pitcher. You make a decision that I have never heard before of a budding, people felt superstar high school pitcher. You, along with your coach at Harvard-Westlake and your parents, decide you're going to save your arm, basically. Put less stress on it by not pitching your sophomore year. How was that received, and how did you come to that decision? Because it's a pretty mature decision.
Yeah. My arm was getting a little bit too sore early in the season. Got it checked out. Nothing was wrong with it, but kind of just precautionary stuff. We came to the conclusion that there wasn't a need for me to go pitch. Yes, I could have, but who knows? I could have gotten hurt. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe.
Chances are.
Yeah, but yeah, at the end of the day, it was just precautionary. We didn't feel a need to, and that's what we decided.
You did pitch a little bit junior and senior year.
Yes.
Did you still love doing both?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
You can throw 98. It's fun, right?
yes, that does help a little bit. But it's fun being on the mound. You're the one controlling the game, and it's on you. You know.
And I've got to believe that decision helped develop your skills as a position player at shortstop at the plate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for pitching, you always have to have a slow heartbeat. You have to be calm. You think someone's going to hit a home run off you can't lose it. So I think that helps with every part of your game. And you're leading the team. You're pitching. I think that helps with playing shortstop. Shortstop, you're captain of the field. You got to make sure everyone's in the right spot. Stuff like that. So it definitely has helped with everything.
You mentioned in an interview that Team USA helped you with that.
Yes.
To have a slow heartbeat. How so? And how do you feel that differently now than when you were younger?
Yeah. So from one I can specifically remember was the gold medal game when I was 12. We were in Taiwan.
First of all, you were playing in a gold medal game when you were 12, dude.
Yeah.
What, like, you were eating like Lunchables and then playing in a gold medal game. Like, how do
Pretty
you
much.
handle that as a kid?
Yeah. I mean, looking back now, and I really don't know, but it was crazy. I think there was like 14,000 fans at the game, like loud, and I mean, you're young, and so I don't even think I played in the game either, which is I don't even think I played, but just being there, I think kind of gave me a head start on like, all right, like this is what it's gonna be, and I think it's helped with everything since.
What are a couple of or number one hardest moment you've had in your life so far?
Last summer.
Yeah, so what went on last summer?
I wish I could say exactly. It was one of those stretches where you can't really pinpoint the exact thing that's going wrong.
But you're kind of in a funk.
It was a funk, and yeah, I really wish I could say I knew like what I was doing wrong and this was wrong with my swing specifically, but it was one of those stretches. You're gonna have ups and downs, but that was the main focus of the off season. Learning how to overcome failure and move on.
To this point in your life, when something goes wrong, what kind of fixer are you? Do you go in the cage for 24 hours straight and drive you insane? Like, how do you fix?
Yeah, I would say at first it's more of kind of take my, like I like to flush everything. Something goes wrong, flush it, move on, learn from it, and practice in ways that you can avoid that from happening again. But I would say mainly it's just at first sitting back, thinking about it, reflecting, and not letting it. What's the word? Not letting it like make yourself dig yourself into a deeper hole, if that makes sense.
Got it.
Yeah.
What do you think you're going to be like the day you debut?
Hopefully the same person. I don't see myself changing for any reason. I want to be the same.
We all want that.
Yes.
But then there are 3 levels in the upper. But like you said with Team USA, I could understand how you'd want that. What do you think it will mean to you if we watch this back in however many years?
Yeah.
And we want to know what you think it will mean to you and your family when you do debut. What do you think that'll be as of right now?
I would say just an accomplishment of a collective amount of people that have helped me over the years. I really can attribute almost everything to my parents. They've done so much for me, and it would just be awesome. I know they'd be all proud, and people back home would be very proud. But it would be awesome.
What do they do? What do your parents do?
My dad manages a Trader Joe's, and my mom's a dietitian.
Okay.
Yes,
So you eat fine.
I do. Since birth, it has been very healthy.
Really?
Yeah.
I swear that's
yeah.
the most important job in this country right
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
Someone who can tell you to eat right.
What's a typical meal at the Rainer
The Rainer
household?
at the Rainer family. A lot of lean meat, pasta, stuff like that. Everything's clean. Very clean eating. Nothing too fancy. Yeah, my mom's pretty simple, so she keeps it simple with everything she does. So.
When's the last time you had a really disgusting cheeseburger?
Disgusting in the best way. you mean.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
like dripping with grease.
And bacon.
Man.
A lot of bacon. Heavy bacon. Not the lean stuff either.
Fried onions.
Probably sometime during last school year, we'd go off campus for lunch. Sometimes we probably got something that wasn't too great.
In and out.
In-N-Out's not too oily, if I'm being
That's
honest.
true. That's
I know.
true.
Yeah, I think Five Guys can get a little greasy sometimes. But yeah.
Harvard-Westlake is not your normal high school, is it? I mean, it's fascinating.
Everybody goes to a high school where astronauts and actors and
first-round
multiple
picks.
major league pitchers went. Dan, how dare
So
you?
homeschooled through eighth grade, and then you go. I'm assuming that did you start ninth? You obviously did start ninth grade at Harvard-Westlake.
Yeah, so I was homeschooled up until 8th grade.
Right.
And then I went 8th grade at
eighth
public
grade.
school.
Okay.
And then 4 years at Harvard.
And what was that transition? Like, you knew, I'm sure you knew what it was going to be like. A prep school, it's a lot of children of the, rich and famous is how it was described.
Yes.
And I love how you described it. It's like I had not necessarily a normal, because it's not normal, this atmosphere. But because there were so many people that other people were paying attention to, you, who might have been a superstar at a public high school, now, I don't know if it's fly under the radar, but you said I had what probably as normal a high school experience as you could have.
Yeah. I totally, yeah. I mean, I still agree with exactly
Yeah.
like how I put it. But yeah, I think it was a great place for me to go. I really have nothing else to say. Like that kind of puts it perfectly, if I'm being honest.
Going in, you knew about the high schoolers the guys who'd been drafted out of there.
I had an idea,
Yeah.
but I honestly didn't know much about it. I didn't know who went to the school. I didn't know like really anything about it. And then after a while, I kind of understood where I was at.
Jack Flaherty with the Tigers
Yes.
is one of the first-round draft picks. I think
Yep.
you are the fifth or sixth.
Hang on,
First
I
round
check
draft
my
pick.
list of Harvard-Westlake alumni.
But you've thrown bullpens with Jack Flaherty.
I have not.
Oh, okay.
No.
Error in the story.
I have not. I know he's been at our field many times, but
Okay.
I've never actually thrown a bullpen with him.
Okay.
What was public school like in 8th grade for young Bryce after being homeschooled?
Yeah, so the not a little league, the field I played at growing up, SYB. There was a million kids, spring ball, fall ball. So I knew a bunch of people, and that's in Simi. And then the public school I went to is in Simi, and a bunch of those kids went to the public school I went to. So there really wasn't even much of a transition. I pretty much knew everyone at this school before I was even there. So going in, it was very easy.
And did you know many at Harvard-Westlake when you got there in 9th grade?
I knew one person. Three.
Yeah.
Knew about 3 people. Yeah.
How quickly do you gain friends?
I would say fairly quickly. I'm a pretty social guy. I like meeting new people. Yeah, I would say pretty quick.
What do you like talking about with new people? We're just looking for tips for the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I would say pretty much anything. Whatever. I mean, I kind of just yap. Like whatever's on my mind, I'll ask you about it, and we'll have a conversation. If it's, I don't know if it's serious, if it's not serious, kind of pretty much anything.
This is such a sterile setting, though. We love our setting, but what do you just yap about?
Oh my gosh, everything.
What do you have opinions on? Give me your worst hot take.
Worst hot take. Oh no.
Mine is I think sour cream is pointless, and I get killed for that.
I think sour cream is extreme. Oh, I got one.
What do you got?
I got
reading
one.
a pierogi.
It's pointless.
I hate sushi.
Really?
It disgusts me.
Is there some
Hate
of
it.
that in L.A.?
There's a ton of it. It's everywhere. All my friends, that's all they do. They want to go get sushi. They want sushi, and I just raw fish. Ugh, can't do it.
What other hot takes do you have? Like AJ Hinch.
Maybe he doesn't
your
have hot
future-
takes.
No,
Maybe
he does. I can see in his eyes. He's got hot takes on everything. And I can't wait to get to know him, in Lakeland, to see what hot takes we get off mic. AJ came on here, your future manager possibly, and said he loves water, but he doesn't like going in the water as much as he likes looking at water. What's your vacation hot take or
Vegas is the most overrated place ever.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
You've been for tournaments,
I've
probably,
been for tournaments. I'm obviously not old enough to go and do whatever adults do there yet. But I mean, it's hot. It's not the most beautiful scenic place in the world. I'd rather go to a beach or Europe or something.
right? Favorite place you've been?
Oof. Northern California, Big Sur.
Okay.
That's a really cool place.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a really nice place.
Why? For people who haven't been, what do you love about it?
It's like a forest on the beach. It's really cool views into the ocean. The water's super blue and clear. And it's relaxing. California can get a little crowded, especially where I'm at. So it's a very nice little getaway.
Do you care about the highway system as much as people suggest Californians care about the highway system? Do you talk about the 405 a lot?
I do. I drive it just about every day.
You do?
Yes.
How do you stay sane, dude?
I don't really know, if I'm being honest. You kind of, I feel like if you do something that requires you to drive a lot after about a year, you kind of don't even realize you're driving. You just start the car, you get in, and then you end up where you're at, and you're like, I don't even remember driving here, because it's the same thing every single day. You know exactly where the traffic's going to start, where it's going to end. It's the same thing every single day. But that definitely could receive an upgrade, in my opinion.
How similar is that to your baseball development? You put the key in the car and you just went and you ended up somewhere? Or do you remember all the stops along the way?
I remember almost everything. There are some things that someone will talk about that I'm like, oh my God, I don't even remember. I didn't remember that. But I would say it's It's kind of similar, although I do like to sit down once in a while and kind of think about like, all right, like I'm here, like this is what I'm doing, like, and not let life go by too fast.
What ABs do you remember most so far in your young life?
There was a home run I hit in high school that was pretty memorable.
Why?
It was quite a big bat flip. Yes, quite a big one.
Did you hate the kid?
No, he's actually my close friend. Which yeah, and it was nothing personal. It was nothing to do with there was some external factors going on that emotions were high on both sides, and I think I said it was a one-time thing.
So you talked to him after?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
External factors, Bryce.
Yes.
Vague.
Why vague? I'll let people come up with. I don't know.
I do
conclusions
want to
of that
know
game
what
in there.
makes you most competitive. Like if we're gonna get under your skin.
Yep.
How?
Losing. Me losing. Don't want to lose. No. I just want to win.
Why? Where does that come from?
Probably my parents.
Really?
Yeah, there was no there was no easy you're not just gonna succeed at everything you do in life. Like you have to work for it. So, winning or hating losing.
Chore? Like what are we talking about? Chores at home? Like what are we working hard at other than baseball?
I'm not even working hard, but just little you go and shoot hoops with your dad, and it's like playing pig. There was no oh, I accidentally missed it on purpose when you're little. No, you got to beat me. You're gonna beat me.
Yeah.
Board games, everything.
Really? Even board? Like what board game?
We play a lot of Monopoly when I was little.
What?
Still a classic.
Still a classic. What colors did you like to buy in Monopoly? Are you like a slumlord? You went Baltic Mediterranean or what?
I couldn't even tell you what the board looks like anymore. I haven't
St.
played in
Charles,
years.
that group, I think
Okay.
is probably.
I didn't know if you still played.
Yeah, I haven't played in quite some
Do you have any further board game questions, or should we move somewhere else?
No, I think we've covered the board game segment quite well.
I think so too. Do you think so?
I
Pretty
do.
good. Yeah, we covered
I
that.
do.
All right.
Tigers talked about your development as a shortstop. Every time it seems like the Tigers draft a shortstop, it's like, can he stay at that position? Mm-hmm. Clearly, everybody believes you can. We've heard this before, though. But the Tigers said you made a huge jump from junior year to senior year in your defense. And I love the quote from your coach, Jared Halpert. He's like, the aesthetics of Bryce, which sounds like a good name for a podcast.
The
actually.
aesthetics
Do you
of
ever
Bryce.
do a podcast? Seems like that might be a good one.
Aesthetics.
I think after today, he's done with podcasts forever.
Watching him move around the baseball field, you get the sense he was put here to do this. And it seems like you might have had that same experience. I think it was a National High School Invitational tournament that you've just played in recently, where you felt like that was kind of one of the first times you felt like, oh yeah, this is what I'm meant to do. Can you just describe kind of how that maybe all clicked in the last year?
Yeah, I think at the end of last summer, I'm gonna go back to that. It was kind of time to make the decision. All right, this is what I want to do, and I'm gonna work my butt off at it. And
I'm guessing your practice is challenging. You're not just doing drills. You're challenging drills that are pushing you.
yeah,
Yeah.
Our practices for high school were pretty detailed. But yeah, and a lot of hard work, a lot of working with teammates. Big shout out to the teammates. I like working with people.
That's who made you better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, it clicked, and HSI went really, really well. We fell short, unfortunately, of winning, but it was a great tournament.
When you meet Alan Trammell, what are going to be some of the first things on your mind in terms of just talking to him about baseball or playing the position or being a major leaguer?
Yeah. I really don't know. It'll probably come to me when I'm
You'll have
around him.
questions, though.
I will definitely have a lot of questions for him. But probably just how he views and what's his secret, what makes him good
Yeah.
at shortstop.
Because he was pretty good for a long time.
Yes.
What's the first time you were starstruck when you met somebody?
Vin Scully.
Where'd you meet Vin?
I was fortunate enough to be very close friends with his grandson. So I actually used to go over to his house and swim.
No.
Yeah, so I went over to Vin's
That's
house.
amazing.
Maybe like 2 times, and he was there, and he's the same person out of the box. Like just an amazing person. Like stories, like just like a fantastic human being.
How was his pool?
It was quite nice. It was a nice pool.
What was it like as a kid, though, talking to Vin Scully? I got a chance to meet him when I first started doing this, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Vin Scully. Like, what did he talk to you about?
I really don't remember. I don't even think I was listening. It was kind of just like
All right,
listening to
get
like
out of
the
here.
voice.
Just get out. No, but seriously, like, you hear the voice, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I'm watching a Dodger game. But you did it at his house?
Yeah.
I met him
Yeah,
for the first time probably.
Did you swim in his pool, too?
I
'Cause
did.
if so, I'm going to lose
no,
my
he
mind.
did not invite me to the pool when I met him in L.A. But when I met him, it was in the 2015, 16, 17 range. First time. Literally, I'm a little nervous walking into the booth to introduce myself.
Yeah.
And immediately he disarms you by just, well, Dan, how nice to meet you. I'm like,
Why? I don't even like meeting me. You do.
immediately disarm. I mean, it's just, I don't know. He just makes you immediately feel comfortable because
Yeah.
he knows how it is for someone to meet. I mean, he knows his stature, but he's just, like you said, just the same person off the air as he was on.
You grew up watching him? So you knew who he was, though, right? Like, you understood the gravity of that. Does his grandson talk like him?
No.
Okay. So you don't call him and he's not like, well, Bryce, it's fantastic to see you. Okay.
No.
All right. Good.
You're about to embark on a. I mean, I try to think of myself as coming out of high school. I was 17. I coming out of college. I'm not sure I was really ready to go live on my own. I did, but I mean, you're about to embark on this, living by yourself, away from family and friends. It'll only be for a little while, and then next year, obviously, it'll be for a lot longer. How do you look at what's coming up as you begin your professional career? I love how Pete Crow Armstrong put it. Another guy from Harvard-Westlake. He's like, well, Bryce, first of all, he had used 3 reallys. He's really, really, really good. Better than I was at his age. But he said he's just going to have to go, experience professional life, get beat up a little bit, and then he'll show everybody who Bryce Rainer is. Describe, I mean, what you picture ahead in the next year or 2.
Yeah, I mean, no one can really say how it's going to go until you've gone through it. So I agree with what he said. You have to go out there. You have to learn, real life. You're out there on your own, and you got to fail to get better. So kind of just on that path currently.
Mentally going in, you're going to be ready for whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like that is a strong part of your game, and that's not a small thing.
So, what life stuff are you, like, great at, and what life stuff are you not great at?
I like the last few summers I've been on my own, so doing laundry, all the little things, eating. My mom's a dietitian, so that obviously helps a lot.
What kind of roommate are you when you share a room with somebody?
I mean, it depends. Depends on what the other. I like to kind of, what's the word? Blanking again.
Fit in?
Not fit, but kind of like adjust to that person's
Yeah, more
personality. More,
I guess.
yeah, it's a good
Feed
word.
off their
Yeah.
personality.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to not, if it's a quieter guy, you talk when he talks and you have conversations. If it's a vocal guy, then yeah, a bunch of conversations. But I would say I'm a clean. I like being clean too.
Okay.
Keeping stuff in order.
We got a couple minutes left here with you, and I do want to know all those friends that are going to text you and crush you for what you said on the podcast. What would they have told us that we should have asked you that we missed on because we don't know them?
I I really have no idea. Maybe like, do you lie about your golf score? That may be one from a few of them.
Do you? That's not a yes, Bryce.
I don't like.
And it's not a no either.
Maybe I like bend the truth a little bit. Maybe not completely lie, but
Maybe that gimme on 17 was
gimme or the
The one that
breakfast
you
ball
missed.
that no one saw, or the chip that I just completely
second chip.
missed. That yeah, but yeah,
So you are pretty competitive, is what I'm gathering.
yeah.
Who else, other than baseball people? We've asked about your baseball people, but like, if you could have dinner with one or two people that aren't baseball people, who would you choose?
Man,
Who's interesting to you?
I would say John Wooden. That'd be a good one.
that would be a good one.
And then maybe some famous like actor or something. I think that would be cool.
Like Jake Gyllenhaal or something?
I mean, he did go to Harvard-Westlake as well. I guess that
You
would,
could just
I
call
guess
him.
That would be maybe. I don't know. I haven't tried.
You could just
Who would be like who are the actors that would interest you?
Okay, I actually got one. Will Ferrell. I
Yeah.
think his kids go to my school too. So I
Yo,
yeah.
you might want to pick up that name that you just dropped. No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I think I've watched every single one of his movies, so it'd be cool to meet him and talk.
Best Will Ferrell movie, in your opinion?
There's only one.
Step Brothers.
So that's a heck of an answer.
Elf is like
Elf is the one, but
yeah.
they're right up there.
Yeah.
My kids love Step Brothers.
Yeah.
I
And
can't hear
and I always-
"Sweet Child of Mine" without thinking of the scene in the car where they're singing.
Yeah.
He's like, "We're counting on you, Tommy. You're the oldest." So good.
Yeah.
So good. I think Torque's a huge Step Brothers fan. Maybe.
I think it has been a favorite for players ever since
Yeah.
it came out.
Yeah.
So, as you walk through the ballpark today, and we'll let you go in a second, and you like look at a field, what crosses your mind on a day like today? Like, where does your mind go as you're doing all this, talking to us? Like, in the moments that you've had to yourself, what do you think about, dude?
I think for me, it's I think most people like you see Major League Baseball and you see the field, and obviously it's a completely different game than high school, college, minor leagues. It's everyone's the best in the world, but at the end of the day, I think it's still kind of cool to just see the field and be like, it's still just it's a baseball
It's
field,
baseball.
you know. I think that's what kind of fascinates me.
That's awesome.
I think the title of this episode, Lydia, who's sitting over there, our great producer, picks a title of the episode based on something you've said. I think the title of the episode is going to be "External Factors" this time around.
I like that.
No, Bryce, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
doing
Yeah.
this.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
This has been fantastic. We hope you've enjoyed it. You can take your Figer Law mug if you'd like for being on Have a Seat presented by Figer Law. Sincerely, congratulations to you and your family, and we look forward to seeing you here soon in a full jersey.
Yes, me too. Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bryce Rainer, ladies and gentlemen.